is about charcoal pits. The comments and the tape is made by Lauren Dobert. The charcoal pit is set and burnt by Gene Dobert. Tape is about the building and burning and hauling of a coal pit, charcoal pit that is. Everything from here on will be, since his coal will be a charcoal. Building of a pit is we call setting the pit. Burning is firing, lighting, and taking care of the pit. A regular hook. This is hook to pull the coal out with. Coal rakes. This is used for raking coal. Used for pulling dirt around on a pit. Sometimes you got to use it for a little balance too. Coal fork. Used for forking back the coal in a hole in the pit. Also used for bagging the coal. And a good sharp axe. This is for cutting the limbs. You need to lay the head out. In some places you need little short pieces. Ladder is made to get up on the pit. Made out of ash poles and 4-inch wide boards, so you can walk up and down without holding on. Poles laying on a chopping block. These poles here lay on a chopping block are sharpened and the ends to poke holes in the pit as needed, like foot holes, air holes. This is a coal bottom that's been shoveled open. Dirt's been piled in a ring on the outside. Bottom is approximately 26 foot across. And thus wood is being piled on the outside ring. Limb wood, which will hold up the wood as will stand up. Brands from previous pits. Wood that's been cut for the pits. Cut to 4-foot lengths. Most all this is top wood, limb wood. A lot of people will probably see these pictures, think they'll know more about coal pits. Some people do. Some people only think they do. Now the man is to fill in the coal bottom with wood. Got it stood on end. Now you're looking at the outside ring. Now you're looking at the coal bottom's been filled with wood. Now you're looking down at the top of the wood in the coal bottom. Wood will be stood around this. This is a chimney. It will be a draft for the coal pit. Now we are beginning center set of the pit. Be placed around and around and around. This will continue until all the wood is placed. Second tier will be placed on shortly. It takes approximately 12 cord of wood, full cords of wood, to fill a 26-foot bottom. A bundle of limbs tied together to build a chimney for the second tier. This will be at least 8 foot high. All the wood will be standing in a semicircle around this on the second tier. Wood being placed on the pit. The pit is built above ground. It's not a pit under the ground as it implies. limb wood on the outside ring, you see, that'll be used for trim wood and will be put on last. Looking at the top of the pit, a third layer, or what we call a head, will be laid out on top. This is done last. Now we're looking at the pit. All the big wood has been set. This area here is starting to set the trim wood. Now he's setting the trim wood on the outside, last layer of wood. Head being laid out. These thrown limbs has been cut up and finished laying the head out. Now you've seen the last of the head being laid out. Now you're looking down up on top of the center of the pit that's been set. Now you're looking at the top. The head has been laid out, what we call the head. The wood has been cut to 16-inch lengths. What lays out for the head. Now you can see the head. The pit is 26 foot across at the bottom and between 10 and 12 foot high. Now you're looking at the pit which hay has been put on. Hay we call bedding. The whole pit will be covered first with this. Then we put a layer of dirt on, what you see here. Dirt is approximately 4 to 6 inches thick. And the pit has been partially covered with dirt. This dirt is black, that's been back from the previous pits. There's the shovel with manual labor to put it on. We've used hay as bedding on this pit. People have used leaves, also what we call brakes. Some people call them ferns. The hay has all been put on, or the bedding. Looking at the pit that's been completely covered. This ladder's been placed on to get on top of the pit. Now we're looking down the center of the coal pit from the top. Now we're seeing the pit being lit on top. Now he's covering the top of the pit to seal it, which will create a downdraft. Smoke leaking through the top. This will be sealed, which will create a downdraft. Smoke coming out of the footholes has been put in to cause a downdraft. Top of the pit where the fire was started has now been sealed. What happens now after you start the fire is it will extracting the gas, and most of the moisture in the gas is from the wood. That's what creates charcoal. The only smoke you should see in the first few days is coming out of the footholes. Now we're going to take pictures of feeding the pit. First we shovel the dirt off the top. Then the bedding comes off. Then the smoke so you can't see. Then comes off. Now we're looking down the center of the pit.
I probably could have held it.
A few small brands thrown in first. Now limb wood will be placed on top. Limb wood being placed in the top of the pit now. That's a coal rake you see laying on the pit. They used to pull the dirt and the bedding back over the top to seal the top. Fresh bedding being put on top. Pit is sealed up again. This may be repeated 3, 4, 5 times a day, day and night, whenever it's necessary. Pit being fed again. Bigger brands being placed in the side. This is to fill up the hole with a chimney. We're forcing the fire down to the bottom. Brands from previous pits is now being used for feeding wood. Tin being placed on top to keep the wood and dirt from falling in overnight or in between feedings. Dirt being placed back on top to seal the top of the pit. New dirt being added to the top of the pit. Hope Opening the pit for feeding. Tin coming off. We got a little fire on the other side. Bedding's burning. Ramrod pole puts down, using as a shove the fire to the bottom. Fill up the hole in the bottom. Now we're looking down the center of the pit and on top. It's coal you see down there. Still piling wood in the center of the pit. Tin being placed back on top. Got a little fire on top. Ain't it a pretty little thing? Fresh bedding went on top of the tin. This we can see the top of the pit. Now he's settling the pit, stomping it together. It'll make it shrink. Footholes have been closed. Holes poked on the top. Draw the fire to the side. Now the fire's on the bottom in the center. Now we draw it to the sides. Now he's settling the pit. You can see how much it's settled since last night. Ladder's been pulled down about 3 foot. The pit is settled about 3 foot on the outside. Putting more dirt on ahead. Holes being poked in the pit. Draw the fire to the side. This side of the pit, most of the holes have been closed. Wind has been hitting this side, so you close the holes. Pit being opened again.
what you shouldn't have to do.
Yeah, this is a lot of the things you shouldn't have to do in a pit. This is the way you work and you shouldn't have to work on them. Tonight you saw something that you don't like to do to a pit. That's a lot of extra work. Now we're taking pictures to show you how much the pit's shrinking. Settling together. The ladder's been removed from the pit. Series of holes placed in the pit now all the way around on this side. The other side has been closed up. Foothole's been placed in the bottom of the pit again. This spot here, the fire ran in the ground on this side before the rest of the pit. Had water or something under to draw the fire. Dirt you see on top is getting hot, a little bit warm. Went to ground from this side here over to there, about quarters away. Pit is all the way down on the ground on this side. The only place got to go down is where you see the smoke. Pit is about 3/4 burnt. You can tell by the size how much it shrunk. Dirt you see there is hot. It'll run just like water if you touch it. Now you're looking at the pit approximately at 50 feet that I stood away when we first took some pictures. Hot dirt slid off the top, coal sticking out on top. I'll show you a picture of pulling the foot brands and bedding off the edge of the pit. What we call the foot brands. That's foot brands you see being pulled out. Help shut the fire off. Now you see how hot the dirt is. This is what you don't like to have, hot dirt. Not this hot. All you're doing now is raking through the dirt to try and cool the pit down a little bit. Take the steepness out so the dirt will stay on top. You can go in there. There, see how hot the coal gets. Pit's done burning on this side here. About down all along, halfway around. About 2 to 3 more days the pit will be down. You can see how much it shrunk. Now you're looking at the fire end of a hole been poked in the pit. Almost down in the bottom of the ground. You got a strip on this side, about 18 to 20 foot long, about 3.5, 4 foot high. Burning. All the rest of the pit is burned. All ready to be hauled out. Now you're looking at the last part of the pit to burn. Probably 3 foot across on the bottom and pie shaped, about 3 foot high. Now you're looking at a pit that's almost completely burnt. You see that the wood shrunk down to almost a good half. Shows you how much moisture and contents in the wood. Pit's all done smoking. Now you see him pulling the coal out of the pit. This is done with a hook. This is repeated all the way around. Use a coal rake to separate the coal from the dirt. Got to save the dirt. Put back on the pit. The ones you see him hitting in the back of the hook is brand didn't quite burn. Starting to get a little pile of coal. Now you see him use the coal fork to fork the coal back when you get too much to pull with a rake. Now you put dirt back on where you pull the coal out, cover it up and help put the fire out. If there is any, which you hope there's not, but there sure is, somewheres. Now it's dry dirt. Not like it was when you put it on. When you covered the pit, it was kind of wet. This is repeated time after time. Now we'll take a picture of the ring of coal that's been pulled out of the pit.
Put it back in here again.
There we got a little fire in the pit. Yeah, they're putting the fire out in the coal. There's steam coming up. Makes your fingers a little hot sometimes. Now you can see the pit didn't have to be made one haul all the way around it. Yeah, we got a fire in the coal.
Yeah.
Ended a fire in the coal. Bring coal around the coal pit. This is the second time he's went around it. Those are bags of coal you see sitting in the background. Now you look at another ring of coal. It's the third time you went around the pit. It's getting smaller. And now you see him raking the coal back. Coal pit got pretty small. The center coal left about 2 foot across. Now you're looking at the 4 stakes in the center of the coal bottom. The one you see was drove in the ground when we started the pit. There's bags of coal sitting around on the coal bottom. Right back to where he started.